guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing something special besides having the background back. I decided to do the background back because today is something very special, and that is Jefferee Star. He changed the boxes. He's not using the Jefferee Star boxes, he's using plain boxes, but he has a new tape. I don't know if you can see it. It has the urns on it and stars for the cremated. I did already open this just to make sure nothing was broken because the corner of my box was a little dented in. So I always like to make sure everything's in good condition. We do have the cremated paper. I save all these. I have like 1 from 3 launch he's done, including the beautiful, my favorite is the ones from Beautylish. Those have all of his tattoos on them and they're very cool. Anyway, this is the cremated palette. You've probably seen everybody showing this, so let's just get into the meat and potatoes of this palette. I love that look. That is a gorgeous look. Not something real wearable, but it's pretty. I was very iffy about getting this because it is basically a black and white palette, and I'm not real big on black eyeshadows. I'm just not, and I don't mess around with gray, but I was interested in these kind of colors, this kind of olivey color and this guy here and here. So I think I'm going to do 2 different looks. I'm going to do kind of an olivey tone maybe on one, and not sure. We'll get into that. I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes using the Anastasia Beverly Hills primer. I did go ahead and finish priming my eyes, and as well I did my brows. Let's just get right into this. I am going to do 2 different looks on my eyes because I'm not going anywhere, so let's get right into this. And I am dying to try this Last Respects here. They are a little powdery, but then again, all of Jefferee Star's palettes I've ever used have pretty much been powdery, but that doesn't mean they lack in pigmentation. I was hoping this had a little more green than it is showing. They do blend very well, and that's one very small dip in where I'm going to bring that into this outside. I don't want to go real dark on this eye. I kind of want one eye a little lighter, one eye a little darker, I think. Yeah, I really wanted something more in the green kind of tones, and it looks like the Morgue. We've got the Morgue here, and we've got Inheritance here. I think Inheritance has a little more of a green tone to it. I'm going to go into Inheritance using this same brush, and I'm going to bring that right here on the outside. Once I get all the pigment pretty much off the brush for the most part, then I'll start to bring it up into that crease a little. I'm going to go ahead and grab a different brush, a little smaller brush, and this is my Refer number 14 brush. It still is on the fluffy side, and I'm going to pick up that same Inheritance color, and I'm going to bring that on that outer and then up into about 1/3 of the way into the crease, keeping it low and not coming past the top of your brow arch is really where you can kind of judge that. That's about 1/3. If you guys have gotten this palette, let me know below what you guys think about it. If you didn't get it, let me know why. Did you not get it because you didn't want it? Did you not get it just because it's not your thing? I'm going to go back to that first brush and just work that edge, soften that edge out. I'm not really a dark eyeshadow wearer, but I was on the fence about getting this, and since you guys know I am a big collector of all this Jefferee Star, and that's a lot of the reason why I got this, is mainly I didn't want to miss it. And I thought that some of these whites in here and some of these silvers are absolutely beautiful, so that was really what got me on that. I am going to cut this lid. I'm going to go ahead back in with my Anastasia primer. I'm going to go in with, what brush is this anyway? I'm not sure. This is a lip brush. This is an L5 from Sigma. This is a great little brush, and it's actually a small brush, and it has a cover. It's a little like travel lip brush, I guess you would say. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. It's great if you have hooded eyes because you can really see, get in there and see how easy I just cut that cream. Real sure. I really wanted to go more towards a kind of grungy green kind of gray green look, but it didn't turn out that way. Just going to tap that concealer off there. Now for the lid, what do we want to do? I want to keep this very kind of, still want to keep it kind of bright. I'm going to go into Afterlife here. It's kind of a cream, like tan off-white color. And I'm just going to go ahead and use, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my MAC 242S. That's a synthetic one. And first I'm going to pick it up dry and just see how that goes on top of that concealer. Oh, it goes on nice. It's not super over the top shimmery, but it's giving me a nice base, a nice white base to build anything on. I think I am going to go ahead and just lightly spray my brush with some Fix Plus. Go back into that. I feel like you're not really getting any pigment. You can always, you go in with a nice flat kind of brush like this and just pat on the color here. I'm going to take that little corner of that makeup wipe and wipe this brush off. I'm going to go into this color here. This is Mortuary Beautician. Boy, is that not a mouthful? I'm going to go into that color. That may be a little dark. I don't want to go that dark. Kind of a dark silver tone, you see. I think that may be a little darker than I want to go. It's called Last Look. Getting kind of a swatch of everything. That's a little too... Oh no, that plays on that other color really well. That brush is dampened just from me wiping it off and into that Last Look. It's kind of a bronzy kind of, it's very, very pretty color. I'm going to go ahead and pat that on that outer corner, pat over that lighter color. It's giving me almost that green tone that I wanted, almost. Very different for me. Now I'm going to go back in with that little brush that we've used, the number 14 Refer brush. Org, is that what that one was called? The one we used to deepen up the crease. I'm just going to lightly go over this, just enough to kind of crisp that up right there. Also going to grab a smaller brush. I'm going to grab this one here. Is a Bodyography. It's just a flat shader brush. I'm going to pick up that Morgue color and I'm going to do that underneath the lash line right here, kind of bringing that off of the outer corner. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this apparently is a eyeshadow palette. From what I've heard, that all these colors are eye safe, which kind of makes sense because you don't really have those reds, and the reds and purples are really where that happens for you. There, I'm going to darken that outer corner just to give it a little shadow there. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and do this eye, and then we'll finish this eye off at the very end. Now on this eye, I think I'm going to do something a little different. I want to play with I really want to play with these liner crystals. I want to see what the lightest look you can do. Everybody's doing these dark looks. I want to do something more wearable. This is more wearable. It's a little darker than I kind of wanted. And I will give you all my thoughts at the end on how I feel about all the shadows. But I kind of want to do something over here that doesn't really have any dark colors in it. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Hockey Hoodoo number J5522 brush, and I am going to go into, let's go into Burial Gown. Oh, I think I may have had a little bit of pink shadow left on that. Let me go into Burial Gown. And that's just kind of an off-white kind of color. I do have very, very light skin. So I want to see how I can play on some of these lighter shadows and if they will actually kind of show up. This may work, it may not. I want to just see how far you can push the boundaries with some of these colors. We're going to talk about you can't really do a whole lot with this. Now, I think I want to go into Casket Ready. That's another kind of just off-white, but a different tone of off-white. Let's see how that does. A tiny bit darker. It almost looks like I just set my eye though, unfortunately. I'm going to go into this one here. I think this is about as, I'm going to stay in the lighter kind of cooler tones, and I'm going to go into Life Insurance. Bring that into the crease. We're on a lot of color here, a lot of shadow, but not a lot of color. How about that? There. But I wanted just to lightly deepen that crease up there. It'll be a very wearable look, I think. But you know me, I'm kind of queen of wearable. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. I do some like over the top looks, but I do a lot more just wearable looks. Now for the lid, I think I'm just going to do something very, very simple for this lid. I'm going to grab that MAC 242S again. I'm going to go right into Diamond's Ashes. This is kind of a chunky color. Pick that up on my finger because I think I'm going to get a lot more pigment that way. I'm just going to go ahead and press that right onto that lid. It's a very kind of chunky, kind of hard color to work with. It's not really wanting. I'm going to press that right onto there. I don't know how well this would actually work with a brush, but I'm going to try it with this 242S and see what I can do. Oh, it is. Okay. I didn't think it was going to. It is. It's got a lot of texture to it. It's very, very chunky. I had just a tad bit of a darker kind of color for the outer corner. Take just a tiny bit of Goodbye there, and I'm gonna, on one side of my brush and the other side, I'm gonna pick up a little more of Diamond's Ashes. I'm kind of mixing those two together. I just want kind of a real sparkly, like lighter, a darker version of what I just did. Tad bit of that. See, I only used a tiny bit of that, and how that just gave a very small, a bit of depth there. But I wanted to keep that real shininess to it. That is pretty. Just going to clean that up a little bit with that Casket Ready color. I'm going to grab a little bit of Embalmed, just a tiny bit darker, and I'm going to put that in the crease right here on the outside. I'm just going to pick up a tiny bit of Embalmed right here on this fluffy brush, and I'm going to bring that on the outer corner right here and kind of underneath. Going to go ahead and clean this up. I'm going to put some liner on, do my mascara, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. I probably look a little different. What do you think? I did the eyeliner I used on this side. In the waterline, I used the Fenty, it's like an olive green one. It is so pretty. I love these. I hope she makes more in these colors. Oh, it's called Bank Tank in the waterline. And on the side, I used the NARS, and this is larger than life long wear black eyeliner. I tightlined both eyes with this. And now in the waterline of the left eye, I used Milk Makeup. I don't know what this thing is called. I'm terrible at finding names on stuff. Anyway, they're eyeliners. If you haven't tried them, they're really good. They don't come in a lot of colors, but this is so pretty. It is a like holographic looking, and I used it for wing and I used it in the waterline and for the wing. I don't like to use this one in my waterline because it irritates my eyes. It has glitter in it, but this is Marc Jacobs, and I'll show you this one. This one's more of a silvery glitter, where the other one has a little more of a lavender to it. See? And that's what I did the wing with. And this is called Iced. This is Marc Jacob Iced, and this is in those kind of shimmery ones that he does. That's that there. And On my lashes, I've been using this and loving it. This is Tarte Big Ego. I thought it went along with the palette. Jefferee Star, Big Ego, you know, the whole 9 yards. I am going to do a little inner corner highlight. That's one thing I forgot. I'm going to pick up this little highlighter, or excuse me, this little concealer brush that we used before. I'm just going to go into Death Glow. That's just a flat matte white, and sometimes a white, oh, I don't like it with that brush. You grab this with this little pencil brush, and I'm just going to kind of bring that, and I like to bring my inner corner highlight just under, especially when I have a lighter color in my waterline, and I'm going to bring that just under. Let me go ahead and bring it all the way under. Yeah, there. I'm bringing this up a little bit into there. Just kind of gives a lot of brightness right in that inner corner. There we go. Same thing on this one. Oh, that one really pops there. You don't always have to use a shimmer as your inner corner highlight to get that pop. See how that just really pops? And I'm going to do the same thing over here, but I'm just going to meet where I started that dark right here. I'm just going to meet that right there under that lash line. Also on my brow bone for a brow bone highlight. Now, right in there, somebody asked me the other day, how do you do a brow bone highlight? Now, a brow bone highlight is right here at the arch. You want to go right into your, right here into your arch, and just slightly out. See, just to kind of give that little bit of highlight. Now, I like to sometimes come in here and highlight that, make that pop. And that is it, guys. Now, one thing I do want to try, I've been trying this with my highlighter, I mean with my palettes lately, is trying to pick out a color that I would use as a highlighter. And I think the one that I would use is this one right here, and that is Afterlife. I've seen other people using Diamond Ashes, but I think I want to try this. I just want to try to kind of bring that right there. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now let's get into how I feel about the palette. I'm going to show you some colors. This Diamond Ashes, I'm just not, if you can see, I've used that once, and it is just kind of chunky, falling apart. I mean, it is pretty, don't get me wrong, I will show you there. It is very pretty, but I just think it's very problematic. Now, as far as like some of the other colors, I did kind of swatch some of these. This one here, this is Pallbearer, and it has a lot of texture in it too. If you like textured shadows, you'll really like that. That's that there, and it's kind of a silver with a more darker tone to it. And we've got a few different formulas in here. This one here, I believe, is like what was that blue one? Blue kind of chunky one that is in the blue palette, and there's one in there. It's not necessarily a glitter, a pressed glitter, but it does kind of work like one. There's that, and that has more of kind of a chunky texture to it. But it's very similar to that, where you can really feel that kind of grit in the shadow. Some of these, once you use them, especially this, but see how this, and I'm very light-handed on my shadows, but let me grab, this one is really, really soft. Last look, but once again, that's this one, and then this is Mortuary Beautician is here. They've got a lot of color to them, a lot of shine, and a lot of texture. Now, also this one I haven't tried, Mausoleum. Alright, I have seen, guys, I've seen some terrible pronunciations, but see how that just went on there? Real chunky, and if you, I mean, you can kind of blend, you can blend it down to where you want to really, those kind of shadows, see? But you'll get a lot of depth out of a shadow like that. Here, And we've got this one here as another one with depth. Those are kind of the real pretty shimmers to it, but you guys have seen the swatches. I think if I had to choose a favorite color out of the palette, that would definitely be that last look. This is, I think that has got to be my favorite, just because it has so much depth in there and so much, it's like green, but it's gold. It's very different. But now the shadows are very powdery, but I mean, again, that is just how Jefferee Star shadows are. It's kind of what you get. They are good quality. They are very pigmented. Right. A lot of people have been having trouble with some of the Jefferee Star shadows, really getting them to kind of not be so powdery and really get kind of a punch out of them. So I'm going to go into, let's just go into Inheritance right here. Now you see how powdery that is? It is, they are very powdery. You're going to pick that up, and we're going to go on here, and we're just going to pat. See how I'm packing that? I'm packing that shadow on until you get the opacity you want. It's solid, you don't want it real, you don't want it patchy. Now once you get that, you can go in with a kind of fluffier brush. This is a number 14 Refer brush. You guys see me use this brush a lot. It's one of my favorite brushes. Now pick up the same shadow, and I'm just going to kind of and out around that edge. Same. Now you see how I've lost some of that in the middle. You can even use this same brush and kind of pack that on. But with Jefferee Star shadows, you really want to pack that shadow on and then kind of blend out your edge. That's how you're going to get maximum pigmentation out of most shadows nowadays, especially when you get into these pressed pigments. You're really going to get a difference that way. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these looks. Now that I look at them, they're looking very close, but they are very different. I think I'm really liking them both, actually. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye!